Hello and welcome to the Nameless Ones. So let's have an energy check-in. As you just sit up straight, you can roll your shoulders up and down, telling your body to relax, taking a deep breath. I'm just tuning in to the collective's energy right now. So, as predicted in the January energy forecast, the January energy weather, I channeled that like a bow and arrow, the start of 2023 would require you to pull back that bow so that you could get clear on where that arrow is headed for. Where is your destination? You cannot reach where you prefer to be if you do not know where you are focused and where you are sending that arrow. And the pulling back of the bow is necessary in order to put fire and fuel and energy behind that arrow so it can reach its destination. Some of you are coming out of that now. You're coming out of that reverie, that peaceful time. And others, for you, even though you did pull back and you did sit in the stillness, it wasn't such a peaceful time. You may be recovering from an illness, from a sickness, convalescing. There could have been a lot of upgrades. Usually illness and sickness is a cooperative with the soul to tend to your upgrades, because your everyday busy life of the daily grind is distracting you from giving energy and patience and attention to those upgrades, to those ascended frequencies which your body needs and craves and requires to receive. And by becoming sick with a cold or a lung infection, a throat infection, flu, whatever, it's a way for you to slow down. It's a way for your soul to get your attention so that it can focus on, so you can focus on being in the relaxed state of receiving and receptive. Because when we're sick, we have to, whether we like it or not, go into a receptive mode. In order to recover, we have to rest. We have to rebuild and replenish what has been depleted. So I also spoke in the January forecast that by the end of the month, we would feel a shift in the energy, which I am certainly feeling now. I have a feeling that you are feeling this as well. So there is this frequency of, you've had the last few weeks to play with ideas, to explore, to ponder and reflect. And now, as we go into the last week of January and certainly into February, you are being shown that, yes, you have the ideas, you have the notions. How are you going to implement those ideas into real time, into real life? So we'll use the example of, some of you are playing with an idea of being with somebody. Maybe you have your heart set on a specific person. Now, moving forward into this year, you're going to be asked to literally decide and to take daily action steps of what that is. So it's bringing us into the very practical nitty-gritty, bringing those ideas, those fantasies, those notions down to earth so that we can ground them now and we can actually, in a real time, real life, in a very raw way, experience them. The dream time, the reverie is wrapping up and coming to a close, and you will feel all this forward motion now as we go into the last few days of January and then into February. And by February, there will be an increased amount of energy in your system. Your energetic bodies have been replenished. There's a sense of harmony and well-being and balance being restored. If you took the time to rest, if you took the time to draw back that bow and arrow and to take that pause. You know, somebody who does archery is actually a very spiritual pursuit. It's a very spiritual sport. I remember when I was a teenager, I had a friend who was big into archery, and he said to me, read this book on archery. And I said, well, I've never done archery. And he said, doesn't matter, it's about life, it's about metaphysics, it's about how energy interplays. So I always remember reading about, you know, when you take that moment, then you have to decide, where is this arrow going to hit? What is my intended place for this to strike? So there will be increased work, increased opportunities to expand on your work, your purpose, your career, whatever soul intentions you came in with around your purpose, around how you want to play this game of life and what you intend to create and leave behind. You will be asked to put in the legwork. You will be asked to put in the blood, sweat and tears, the nitty-gritty of what that is and what that takes. I feel like February will be very focused on that, but in a very supportive, lots of spiritual support, lots of energetic cosmic assistance to bring you to that destination that you're seeking. Now, I often have requests from clients saying, what is my life purpose? If you think that you need to ask somebody else what your life purpose is, you have a lot of spiritual work to do, because nobody else can tell you what your life purpose is. Nobody else can direct that for you or choose what that looks like. And the fact that you think that you need to ask somebody else is information in itself that you're not directing and guiding the ship of your own destiny. So hopefully by now most people have moved beyond the externalization of placing the power of their lives in somebody else's hands. It's crazy to ask somebody else to answer that question for you. All you have to do is tune into your heart and soul, tune into your body, tune into your high heart and ask yourself, what do I want to do here? And it's not so much a compulsion of sacrifice. It's more about what would you choose to do, what excites you, what brings you pleasure and joy when you see yourself or think about yourself playing out that job, role, service to others or to yourself. I find it a little bit disconcerting when I get repeatedly asked in emails or messages from people, tell me what my life purpose is. that shows such a disconnect to your authentic self, and it shows such a disconnect to your internal power, which nobody else can activate but you. So I would be very sketchy and wary of any healer who says, I can tell you your life purpose. Now, I'm not saying that as a channel and as a healer, I can help you with your life purpose. I can guide you. I can pick up on specific talents and skills that are very clearly in your aura, in your energy field. But what you choose to do with that is entirely up to you. And even still, I wouldn't be comfortable putting words in people's mouths. I want you to empower yourself. And a good healer will want you to empower yourself and won't play games of externalization of power, pretending that somebody else outside of you knows what's best for you, when the truth is nobody does. And it's the same in relationships. You will have people who want to know, should I marry so-and-so? I mean, should you? That's up to you. And again, that's a very internal, personal power question. And you need to be strong enough in your own energy field. Now, again, I'm not saying you can't seek guidance around your connections, guidance around your work and how you work, and we can all help each other. We're all walking each other home. But at the end of the day, who you choose to marry, who you choose to engage and spend your time with is completely up to you, and it's between your gut and your heart and your soul self to decide. Shamans, healers are mirrors. We can reflect the truth back to you. We can help you, perhaps if you're in denial about something, we might be able to just hold a space for you to tune in and feel what you're truly feeling. But certainly your life and how you play this game of life is entirely up to you, and there is no judgment on how you play it. The only judgment that you will feel upon you is very much between you and yourself, you and your soul. So I just wanted to, I didn't expect to talk about that, but that's what came through. So we're looking at February energy here. Now clear and cleanse these cards of all previous and lower energies. Shuffling these cards on behalf of the collective. February will be a very active month. It will be full of nooks and crannies, be full of travel, full of unexpected trips for some of you, short trips, long trips, internal trips, spiritual trips, astral trips, going into other dimensions. There will be lots of ear to the ground stuff, feet on the ground activity. So the dreaminess, the quietness of January is wrapped up now, and there will be lots of the time for pause is over now. All the energy is moving forward. Planets are all going direct. This is a great time of direct motion. So if you have some new business you're setting up, or you have some kind of project that you're trying to get off the ground, a charity, or if you're trying to get something in motion, maybe you're trying to get pregnant, all those kind of examples of forward motion, this is the time to do it. So believe me, by the end of February, and it's going to be fast. February's fast moving energy. It's very, very different to January. So make sure you have your walking shoes on. If you're willing to put in the work, there's certainly rewards. When I say the work, I mean focus. I mean energy. Ooh, it falls to the floor, it's knocking on your door. Okay. Journey. That girl has her bags packed and she's ready to take a journey, and so are you. Many of you are relocating. This journey card is all about movement. It's about moving. When this card comes up, it says get your bags packed, because you are relocating, you're moving to a new place. If you've been searching for the perfect new home and you haven't had much joy, you wouldn't have really had a great time in January with that, because a lot of planets were going backwards, retro, and we also had Mercury retrograde. So it's never good to move during a Mercury retrograde. I've done it in the past and it's not worth it, because a move done in a Mercury retrograde will usually have to be short-lived, unless you're returning to a place you lived before and you were happy there. But as you can see, the journey card. So as I said to you, I picked that up reading the cards. Lots of travel, lots of movement. Perhaps unexpected vacation, or it might be a work trip or something like that. And very synchronistic. There's going to be tons of synchronicities. Lots of spiritual cooperative coincidences happening in February as well, okay? So let's get this one out of the way. But it's actually, even though it looks pretty jarring, it's actually quite positive because it's reversed. So we have broken heart reversed. Number 9 is the number of completion. So if this was upright, I'd be telling you, you are in deep grief. When this card comes up for a client, I know they're suffering. They're grieving. It could be a breakup. It could be a death. It's a massive loss. It's a massive heartbreak. But look, when it's reversed, it means you're out of the darkness into the light. You've done the healing. You've done the hard work. You've sifted and explored. You've faced whatever pain was in your body and your heart that you needed to face. And you're now complete. You're complete with that experience. So I'm really happy to see that reversed. So when I picked it up off the floor, I was like, phew, that's really good to see. Healer of the ages. So some of you need healing in order to activate this very, very busy, fast-moving energy that we're going to have in February, so that you have the robust heartiness to face it. Some of you are really getting your healing work off the ground. I have this inbuilt frequency in me where I activate the healer in people. So if you're somebody who's on the fence and you're afraid of being a healer or a channel or doing this alternative work, having a session with me will spark that for you. I have set people off on incredible healing careers. And this card is here to say that if you know that you're a healer, and if you know that you're not doing it from an ego place, you're doing it from a genuine soulful place in your high heart, well then that card is confirmation for you. The thinking woman reversed. So as I'm tuning into this now, I don't know what the book says, but what I'm getting is this is about you're no longer overthinking. You're not the thinking person that's analyzing, analysis paralysis. You're no longer in a frustrated mind. You brought the mind, you brought the consciousness down from the mind into the heart, into the gut, and into the body. And you're actually activating your intuitive properties and your spiritual understanding. So you're no longer trapped on a loop in that thinking. You've closed a karmic cycle and you're entering a new time that's more intuitive, more in the flow. Magician and the mirror. What I'm getting for this is, okay, well this reminds me, these are not tarot, these are the energy oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor, but this reminds me of the magician in the tarot deck. And it's interesting, I see at the top of his head there's an infinity symbol. It's really faint, but you can see the infinity symbol there. And I was walking early this morning and there was all these, I was going by a train station and there was all these wires and they were set in the infinity symbol. I'm seeing the infinity symbol everywhere. Now, oftentimes when we see the infinity symbol, it's there to remind us that our twin flame is close in our consciousness or in our lives. I mean, it means lots of different things, but it can be very connected to romantic connections and deep, heartful, loving relationships as well. So I'm going to read out the book, the last one there, 53. I've just gone through a huge upgrade of my throat chakra, so you can still hear it. Like, I've had throat chakra activations throughout my life, especially as a child. I had to have my tonsils out, and I had a lot of throat stuff because spirit was expanding, activating my throat all the time so that I could be a channel and I could get into my healing work as soon as I could. So my mother said, like, you always had throat issues. And I can still hear it's quite rough still. But this was so crazy. This was so uncomfortable. Like, I just had to be quiet and just ascend through it. So, Magician in the Mirror, knowing and using your true power. This card upright represents the culmination of your personal and spiritual power at this time. In the Magician's left hand is the flame of passion and action. See, this is February, right? In his right hand is a vortex of water and the light of reflection. Okay, that's what we've had in January. This highly beneficial card is telling you that you are the magician, and within your grasp are the amazing forces of earth and spirit. The water is the energy of yin, the power of spirit and clarity of thought. The flame is the energy of yang, bringing direction and creativity. Together, they give you the magnificent magic of transformation. The mirror stands beside the magician, reflecting the outer world's response to your choice to use or dismiss the true power that you have. Its silver reflection reveals the future in a mist on the horizon, ready to be magically formed. When you receive the Magician upright, you are put on notice that an important and powerful time is at hand. What did I tell you? You are the alchemist of your life, and just as an alchemist turns base metals into gold, you are now able to transform your difficulties into great blessings. This is true in every area of your life. Claim your power and embrace your intentions in your heart and in your daily life. Direct your destiny, and the mists of the future will clear into brilliant reality. So there's a very strong sense of completion by the end of January. Some of you are even feeling that now as we have a week or two ahead. There is a sense of what's next, what's new. Okay, I've spent the past 2.5, 3 years sifting through all the different data of my life to discover and to glean what actually is of value to me. And February is going to ask you to actually get those running shoes on so that you can go and tend to actually the practical, pragmatic, everyday stuff of setting that up. For some people, that is going to be a baptism of fire because they are finally at the last, it's like, it's the final lap of the race. And that's when we can often get discouraged, because a lot of the time, what I'm just getting now is a lot of the time people are afraid what's on the other side of their achievement, of their success, because it's unfamiliar, but also there's a sense of, oh, you mean now I actually have to use this qualification and actually do the work. You know, it's that thing of people at the end of their college life, they can no longer sit back and rest on their laurels. They have to take the responsibility of being a grown-up in the real world and having a job or paying the bills or whatever that means. So that's the kind of sense of, for some people, there's a sense of, oh, I actually have to really produce the goods now and show up in a very spiritually mature fashion. But what I'm saying to you is, you absolutely have the entourage of spiritual support, and it's up to you, but it's not you alone. There is so much angelic, spiritual, ancestral power at your back, cheering you on rejoicing in celebration. And for many of you, by the end of February, there will be some kind of milestone, some achievement I'm getting. There'll be something tangible. So February is about making it tangible, okay? This is all just coming through as I'm doing this video. And your support will be tangible, more so than it was for the past 2 months. You will have the right people show up at the right time. People will have your back. People will help you with resources, with money, with the services, the thing you need, the right hammer tool at the right time. That's what I'm getting. You've nothing to be afraid of now. And I feel when I tune into your energy that you're at a point you're like, you know what? I don't even care to be afraid anymore, because I want to get going. I want my feet to hit the ground running. And you're perfectly poised for that in February. So I think that's all the main themes I can think of for now. That's the basic gist of the energy forecast for February. Is there anything else you want to add, angels? Okay, so they're saying just to pull another card. So I will do so on your behalf. For you, the viewer, this card is for you. Oh, we need to put them in as well. We need all the deck. You have to have all your cards in your deck for it to be powerful and effective. There's rhyme and reason to the number of cards. So how many's in this? Oh, there it is on the floor. Doesn't say how many cards are in it. Okay. Oh, there's 2. 2 cards for you, my viewer. Ah, okay. Attachment. You've got to release that attachment now. Whatever is holding you back from taking full flight in February, that sense of, you can actually see she's looking at a mask. She's gazing at a mask as though the mask, the external thing, is more powerful, more beautiful than her actual face or than her actual authentic energy. That's what I'm getting when I look at that. And she's enamored with the mask, but you can also see that she's got a chain around her wrist, and the chain is tied. I've never really looked at this. The chain is tied to a very solid pillar, so she's keeping herself attached and she's keeping herself stuck. And that attachment, number 5, is obsolete moving forward now. The 5D is well and truly in motion. Whatever you need to release, whatever you need to move forward and graciously and gracefully hand that attachment over to your angel guide and bow and say thank you for taking that heaviness off me, because I'm running forward now in the next few weeks into spring, this side of the world, spring. And I can't have a heavy chain hanging me down. You're not gonna be able to run very far if you're carrying this stuff with you. So drop the mask, drop the externalization. You don't need anybody else to validate you. Validate yourself. And then we have strategy. So this is what I'm talking. I mean, these cards could not be more the themes of February. It's just amazing. I've been using cards since I'm 12 years of age, reading cards, and I'm still amazed and blown away by how powerful these all Oracle Tarot decks are, and how they literally mirror back our energy and the truth of the situation. So it says in the picture, journal, log. So for some of you, you're going to have to get pen to paper and make a strategy. Some of you are going to be studying, doing exams, like I said, at the end of the month. You might be receiving a certificate for that exam, some kind of recognition. But this is also about implementing your strategy. So we had the ideas, we've had the creating of the map the last few weeks, but now we're actually going to be putting that strategy into real time, real life. 21. Making a plan. The card shows a pen, journal, compass and key. So also getting a key. When I hear key, it's key to a door, key to a new home, key to a new job. Like it's the key to open something, a new threshold, okay? When you receive this card upright, it indicates that this is the optimum time for setting up a very specific strategy for achieving your goals. Write about the direction you want to go in. Consider any potential change in course that may be needed. Be aware of the particulars regarding your goals and have some conscious plan in mind. Structure the long-term goals needed to make your long-term goal a reality. So taking those little tiny baby steps, those nitty-gritty steps, is going to be, you're going to have so much support to do that in February, because those little baby steps are laying the foundation of the bigger picture, the bigger dream. This card is telling you to spend some time setting things in order. It's time to take full control. Back to the power again, right? Interesting how when I first came on, I didn't expect to talk about that message about, you know, don't be asking people, don't be asking seers or psychics or healers, what's my purpose? Because you are disempowering yourself by doing that, first of all. And second of all, we don't have the power to tell you what your purpose is. And you don't have the power to tell me what my purpose is, because we get to choose that for ourselves. And we did come in with the theme of what that would be. And it's, the healer can help you remember who you are. Like, that's my job. I'm very good at, there's a frequency in me that will highlight and help you remember who you are. But I'm not going to tell you who you are, because that would be wrong. And I don't have the right or the power to do that, okay? This card is telling you to spend some time setting things in order. It's time to take full control, add thought to action, and set your sights on the road ahead. Lots of symbols of roads, travel, moving ahead, pen to paper, thoughts turning into action. So if January was the thought time, February is the action time. So that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for being here with me. As always, I so appreciate you. And I wish you a very, very blessed February. Thank you. Bye-bye.